Well, welcome back to the Cheron Moore Show. I'm Cheron, your host. Today, as I've told you before, I'm doing a new special segment I just put in the show called Extraordinary Drummers. Of course, you know I'm talking about Funky George Brown, founding member of the group Kool and the Gang, here on the Cheron Moore Show.
That, you know, it's 6 degrees of separation in this world, how things come around for people. And Kool's mother, there's a photograph of her right over there.
Yeah, loved her. Amina, something.
My sister Amina. She knew Walter Foster. And Walter was a bus driver for Mr. James Brown.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So, just like everybody says, you know, hey, my nephew, my cousin, my son, my daughter, they sing, play, blah, blah, blah. And so Walter came to us and said, I want you guys to write music for me and record it, you know, do some recordings for me in the city, which is New York City. So we did so. And we had a great time doing it. And, you know, we weren't thinking about being recording artists. We just, because everybody wanted to be a jazz musician, for real. You know, we were thinking about, you know, gold plaques and Grammys, or, you know, people were going, hey, that's him, or you, somebody. We just wanted to be musicians for real. And that was the real desire. Not looking for any fame or anything, nothing. And so as a consequence, we didn't shop anything, ever. We never shopped, we never did any visiting, making tapes of tape, nothing. So Walter came, we did his sessions, we recorded a bunch of music that we wrote. At the time, this was like late 67, 68, right? There was a gentleman at the time named Gene Red. Gene Red's father was a well-known musician. Gene Red Sr., well-known musician. Gene Red at the time was a Motown writer, and he had groups like, remember Jimmy Castor?
Oh yeah.
Go to your mama.
The Funk, something in the Funk.
Jimmy Castor,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Hey Leroy.
Yeah.
Right.
And what was the other one? Bertha Butt.
Bertha Butt. Right, Jimmy Castor. And Gene produced Cool Jet.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I got a girl, really, right? And just a ton of stuff out of Motown. He produced James Brown. He produced, I think, Gladys, and a number of other, as a Motown writer. Walter took the record to him. And when he heard it, and because we were kids, so the tracks are going to sound like young people. Like today, he said, oh, these young kids got it going on, man. They got this sound, and they do that, and they do that. So so when people say that now, I quite understand what they're saying, you know. And so when he came, as Walter says the story, and I'll tell you why I know that part of the story, Gene was saying, well, I want to see these young kids. I like your voice, but it was soul music, kind of, sort of. But we weren't playing soul music. We were playing, he was singing soul music on the top of the stuff that we wrote. It worked, but it still had, it was like, oh, this is different. So he came over to see us on Stegman Avenue. And he came up, and at the time we were managed by Domenico bus line.
I was basically the bus line.
Yeah,
Y'all even used them to tour back in those days.
We used to use Domenico bus line to tour.
I can remember riding in
and
that
they're
thing.
still around. Domenico's there, but the owner was our manager, right?
I didn't know that.
So Gene came up, he's like, I don't own bus line, I can't give you guys limousines, because we were like hot in Jersey. We were like the guys, man, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And you were playing in the clubs every night, you know. He said, I can't give you limousines, I don't have a bus line. He said, but I know how to make hit records. And we were just sitting there looking at him like, I'm looking at you like, so? Nobody wanted to. He said, so, you know, you guys want to do this? And like guys would say, no, I don't want to be no pop guy, I don't want to be no pop musician, you know. So he said, all right, go make your decision. So we went in the back room, and I think Cool and I twisted everybody's arm, and we came back, and we said, yeah, we do it. He said, oh, great. And he went off back home to the city. We didn't hear from him anymore. At all. Because, like most people in the business, you get busy, and you forget about the artist. You know what I mean, right? You're a producer. He's a well-known producer, so got other stuff, other artists that he think maybe that were just as good, and other singers and things. So I've always been to me, maybe I'm not, but very proactive. So it's like after 6 months, I'm saying, who's this guy? So I had his address, so she gave it to us, and I have no qualms about calling people, knocking on doors, hopping on trains, getting in the buses, walking, anything. And I hopped on the train. He opened the door. Oh, yeah. You guys ready? He said, yeah. He's like, man, I almost forgot about you guys.
Wow.
And he said, his wife was Barbara. I remember what he said, Barbara, maybe you're tuning for sandwich. And we sat in there and talked. He had got the piano and stuff. But and then he came back over, and we started eking out the first album in the back of a bar.
Was that
on Pacific Avenue.
This one up here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In the back of a bar. We were in the back of a bar. You know who lived over that bar? Cool and Khalees. Ronald, yeah. So the bartender, the bar owner knew him. It's the community bar. So in the back where they kept all the storage, that's what we started rehearsing. Deep, right?
Yes.
So people think it's like, wow, man, you guys, blah, blah. No, that's where we were. And then we moved over to St. John's Church. And the first time Ronald, Spike, Rick, and myself got together, remember the Church of the Incarnation in Jersey City, Storms Avenue? Father Avery was the pastor there, and I was a parishioner, right? So and I was an altar boy and all that kind of stuff from both churches.
Oh, boy,
so that's why I was talking about Father Castle and Father Albert. I was always in the vestment room because I was used to work with the priests.
That's another whole show, George.
It's a whole new story.
But it's another whole show to see
anyway,
that.
Father Avery said, sure, son, you can practice. And Father Avery used to let me go into the parish house and play the piano all the time anyway. I'd be hacking that piano off. He probably said, we got to get it tuned every day because this guy's in there banging on it, not knowing what he's doing. But slowly but surely, positive mind. Positive mind, slowly you get there, So Gene Red.
Yeah, and then Delight, getting to Delight.
Oh, okay. So this is how people have to be positive. What he did was we recorded the album. It took about a year. We used to go to White Castle every night.
Was it still on the Boulevard?
Went on the Boulevard,
Oh,
from St. John's, and I used to look at St. John's apartments and go, wow, man.
Across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's why
yeah.
when I got married, that's where I moved.
Oh.
I moved right there, man. I bought a beautiful Lincoln Continental, man.
Nice.
Oh, just like, and that's like, yeah.
I'm here. I've arrived.
Yeah, I've arrived, right. St. John's. St. John's apartment. So Gene used to buy a bunch of burgers, and we were kids then, so we'd go back, we're happy eating the burger, we'd go back to rehearsal. Then he took it to he put it on his own label, Red Coach.
I'm a Red Coach.
And of course, it didn't do anything. Nada.
Ugh.
Nothing.
Ugh.
And we weren't like, oh, our careers are ruined. Nothing like that. I didn't think we thought too much of it anyway. And he took it to, there was a big disc jockey at, not BLS, what was the other station in New York? The big one, WWRL.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
WWRL.
Hank Spann and those guys.
Hank Spann, there was another one though.
I can't remember
The
his
big-
name.
the number-
Bloodsoe? Oh, you talking about the disc jockey or
Yeah,
the station?
the jockey.
Bloodsoe? Something Bloodsoe?
Not him. There was, I know Frankie Crocker
Frankie
was
Crocker.
there, but before him there was another.
I can't remember.
We had Hal Jackson in New
Right, Hal
Jersey,
Jackson.
WWRL,
Right.
but it was, WNJR, but
Right.
WWRL was another one. But I remember we were in the studio recording, and that was Bell Sound, right? That's where the Beatles used to record, and Dionne Warwick, we were there, It was just stark, the difference between studios then and now was like, they were like big factories. They looked like a factory, right? To me, with the big pan pots and things. And I remember we would say, hey guys, you can be up this Monday and back together on Friday. They just talking that type stark reality, and it didn't bother us. And Khalees and I were always the last two leaving the studio because we do a lot of work with Gene after a lot of little vocal things, and that's what I believe he and I, meaning Khalees and myself, we started developing more studio chops because we were always in studio with Gene at the end of the session doing whatever we needed to do with him. So we learned a lot in techniques. He was a brilliant guy, Gene Ray. So they brought it to, I think this jock knew the people at Delight, and they brought it to Delight. I think Gene knew them too. They liked it, took a chance, and they signed us. And I remember I was working with my girlfriend. She used to work, remember Royal Tone on Garfield Avenue? So she used to work at Royal Tone. That's when we were high school. We were high school kids, right? And so the record came on the radio. And the whole neighborhood blew up. Like, man, you got, and she, you got your girlfriend, you're in school. She's like, oh my God, the whole deal.
Sweet.
And everybody was just so happy. And, it was just but then the whole life just changed just like that. And one of the things that I always feel deeply about within myself, this is me, in show business, and I guess in other businesses, I presume, you kind of lose yourself. You lose yourself for a minute. You lose yourself in it because it's a big ton of events in your life, especially that type of success. And that record went on to be like 38 with a bullet on the top 100, so it was a major crossover success. So life just totally changed, like literally. It wasn't overnight, but it's like boop. All of a sudden, wow, everybody's calling, you got this concert, this tour, that, you're going to Europe, and you're like, man, from 69 to 70, the next thing you know, you're in London, right? And you're touring Europe, you go, oh my God, this whole thing. But I always felt the George Brown that was 1968 George Brown was gone.
Mm.
And I don't know if I got to see a therapist. I've seen a lot of them folks, but I say I got to find out what that is, because the me that I thought I was, that being, was not there anymore. And maybe it's just the growth, and I'm not really cognizant of what that is still. So I let it be, and I think about it sometimes, and do self-analysis, of all my foibles as a human being, so, okay, you got to straighten that out a little bit, but that's the human journey, foibles, right, and correcting them and staying positive.
What was you thinking drum-wise at that time? Still being a drummer, what was going through your head drumming? You still had Elvin going? You was thinking other things, incorporating other things in the music?
With Gene, Gene is a world-class producer. So in studio, you're playing music for recording. So you couldn't do a lot of stuff. You can make the breaks, but it had to stay,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't be, people are dancing here, or somebody's singing something, or, guys taking the solo and you're playing all through it. You just had to stay right there. And I remember Gene was telling me one time leaving Bellside, he says, man, you make a really good studio drummer because you can just lay there and just stay in the pocket. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not playing anything. In my mind, I'm not playing anything. It was a good studio, not realizing that guys are making great livings being studio drummers.
How did you come up with Too Hot?
Oh, that's easy. The same girl from Royal Tone? Yeah, it was her. That's what that was.
I heard you walking down the street.
What, pardon?
You was walking down 52nd
No,
Street.
that was another song.
Oh, really? Which one? Which one?
Jones vs. Jones, which became a top 5 pop hit shit.
One of my favorites.
Hello, man.
Love it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. So,
how did Too Hot come about?
Well, I remember I lived in Gramercy Park at the time, and Something Sweet. Remember Cynthia? They were rehearsing because they were the female voices of all our records.
Something Sweet.
So I was in the my lobby. So Samaya, Cynthia, Renee, they were all upstairs in my apartment, oohing and ahhing. And I was sitting in the lobby, and they pulled out a paper bag. And I started writing. And I just started writing stuff the other day. I just finished another song that I have. And I'll tell you, I always hear music, right? So that, I'm going to not digress, I'm going to go forward. The other day, I'm sitting, and I'm not going to tell the title, but just getting up, that I was hearing Nat King Cole sing. Right? And so, okay, Nat King Cole is singing in my consciousness, next thing you know, I'm walking down the hall in my house, and I hear da 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 da, which is James Brown, da 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 da, and I have a title which I'm not going to mention, but when that happened, all of a sudden the melody came in mind for the song that I was writing. And so I went to my baby grand and started playing the changes, and all the lyrics, everything came out at one time. So I came in here and just put it in the computer. And I just wrote it right there, all the lyrics, and the whole thing was right there. And from da 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 da, and it, nothing to do with that. It's just some James Bond. It was in here, That's why I need therapists, ladies and gentlemen. But Too Hot, I'm writing, and I'm at 17, we fell in love, high school sweethearts, and love was so burning. You tell the story right there, And then I was in House of Music. We did a lot of things. House of Music, and also on 57th Street. What was the studio? Media Sound.
Yeah.
Right. We did Ladies' Night at Media Sound, or Too Hot at Media Sound, whatever. Anyway, I'm sitting at the piano and I'm playing like a Montana bong, and C minor, C minor, C minor major, type of C minor 7 to C minor 6, and I was going da da da, and I go, oh, too hot. That's all I had.
Wow.
And Starlina, remember Starlina from the group?
Boy, you going back.
That group, she came in and said, what are you doing, George? I'm saying, bunch of mistakes, that's what I'm doing. It's just from mistakes come great things. This is like out of diversity comes opportunity. So she actually put it that old Chinese saying, right? So I went home in my Fender Rhodes and started messing around, and next thing you know, applying the lyrics to the chord changes in the melody. And I presented it to Diodato in one morning, because she used to pick me up every day. And he said, senor.
I remember seeing him in the studio with you guys.
Yeah. And the singer, you done it again. That's how he was. He's looking over, he's sitting in the middle like I'm here, and he's got the cigarette. And so, we go off and we started tracking it. We got Adam Ippolito, who used to play with Yoko Ono, her band. He came in and played the piano. That's him playing. Adam did a fabulous job on piano. He's playing that, man. And then when we finished the track, and I had all the ideas like da-da-dee-da-da. It was all rhythm of the word, and that was her name. No, that was and all of it, and I like the Brazilian thing anyway.
Got a Latin kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's a Brazilian like that.
It's Brazilian, okay. Yeah, that's what makes it cool. That melody.
Yeah, man. Chris Cross came to me in London and said, "Man, what a groove, man! That." So,
where'd you come up with the ding 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 like the
Ladies' Night?
Charlie Brown line? But that wasn't that Too Hot too? The ding ding.
No, it's Ladies' Night.
Because it seemed like you stayed with that for a couple of records. That ding 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 ding.
No, that's
Charlie Brown thing.
When Charles did
Joanna?
Take My Heart.
Okay.
Joanna's like that too. Charles did Joanna, but Take My Heart. The 9/8, 12/8. Is it 12/8? 12/8. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 12/8 thing.
Right. Yeah.
I took the song, the track, because nobody really liked the song, and I came up with no time for waiting, baby. We've come over to this move. I'm offering satisfaction, and I give it to JT. Hey, I like this. Number 5. Again, I'm like, wow, man, I don't believe this. You know, and at the time, my girlfriend at the time, I remember shutting the doors to the bedroom, right, and going to have my little cassette player. You know, I lived in, how was it, Cliffside Park, right? And just came, no time for wasting, baby. We're going to those moves. I'm offering satisfaction.
I don't know what the rest of this one, Joe.
But you know, take my heart.
Oh, yeah, take my heart.
We put that out, man. Jay got it. Then I like, Marvin, ooh, right? Whoop. I said, I don't believe this. I was like, man, you're golden boy or something.
There was a time period where you guys had about 7 or 8 hits, and I was talking to the gentleman here, and they literally were so quick after each other, like Cherish, and so they were like 9-month records, and here come the next one, and it was just a string of hits. What was that like? That was doing the Cherish and
Emergency. I'm going to bring Emergency
yeah.
because Emergency got us to the next plateau of what we were doing. In this regard, Kool and the Gang was never played on MTV like a lot of black artists were at the time. Michael Jackson, maybe Donna Summers at the time, but Dinah Ross, and we were flying up to Tahoe. I had 2 versions of the Emergency track, and Curtis was with me. Curtis Williams, who's the brilliant pianist, genius.
Funky.
He's a brilliant pianist. And I said, Curtis, which one? The funk version or the rock and roll version? Let's do rock and roll. And we came with the rock and roll version, and we finished the track, and we recorded, it was done, and we did the video up in Tahoe. So, like, it was a performance video. You know, and James had the mic and brought it down like that, and the smoke was going, and we were playing rock. Cause the rock and roll, right? MTV picked it up. You know.
Tell me about going forth. You're building this conglomerate, this media company. You got the record company. Tell me about. Oh,
it's a media company.
If you're able, yeah. Can you expound on that a little?
Well, I'm going to tell you. So, what I went about just gathering people for the infrastructure. You know, accountants and attorneys, and my partner Claude Ishmael, who fronted and managed many labels. You know, people who know the industry, and of course all the creative people, such as engineers as Larry is there.
I tried to get him to talk to me, but he wouldn't do it.
And Larry's shy. His name is La Freaky. And so he's shy. You know, I'm not shy. I've been doing this since I was 19, so it's just the truth.
Wow.
Yeah. But
what's going to be the name of it? Are you able to say?
It's called Astana.
Astana.
Astana Music. At this juncture, we are not just a label, we are a media company. Because we're going to go into the different, are going to the different aspects of being a media company. We're going to start, so it's a Astana Music Group now, the AMG. And we're actually getting ready, I'm not going to mention anything, but it's going to be Astana / another company as well. We're going to have a specialties, it's not specialties really, but the Astana side will have all the popular music of today, the popular music, and that's what we've got. And the other side will do a lot of the specialty meditation albums, smooth jazz, gospel, you know, whatever, to give people a chance on both sides to showcase their talents.
You want to do film, movies, film?
Absolutely. We have a video now called King Size with Chelsea, and it's doing very well. Hey, that's my partner Claude from Paris.
Now this is the management. These are the founders of the new company. Say that name again for me, George.
Astana Music.
George was talking about how was first of all, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in. George was telling me the instruction and how it was built and some of the success that the new artists are having.
Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea. Are you excited?
Of course, we gotta be excited. What is amazing in that process is George had the ability not only to compose amazing melodies, amazing gimmicks. It's a natural matter to him, and also to select amazing vocalists, really talented performers, and Chelsea's obviously one of them. So actually I was in Paris when he told me about Chelsea, that he introduced me already a couple of years ago when I was in LA, and I told him that was a brilliant idea, and because her personality matched extremely well with the concept that George had created, the king size concept.
George, let me wrap it up and say thank you.
Thank you, Cheron.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, it's been a long friendship.
Yeah, it's been a long one, George.
Yeah.
How about it, huh? Extraordinary drummer, Funky George Brown, here on the Cheron Moore Show. You help me say bye to them? See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Au revoir.